What's up, Burn Nation? Welcome to the Burn Bootcamp Podcast. We are here. We are live with my man Cameron. What's up, Cameron?
Hello.
And we're here in Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin on our Wisconsin tour. And it is 5 a.m. right now. We got that dark and early energy. Cameron, you're getting ready to train at the next camp, aren't you?
6:45.
Okay, 6:45.
Yep.
I'm training the 6:45 camp. And Cameron is here with us today to have a member spotlight podcast. And so I've really enjoyed bringing members to you guys, because hearing from your fellow members, and if you're not a member, you know, hearing from people that are inside of Burn Bootcamp and on their journey is always so healthy and so positive, just to hear what it's really like behind the scenes here at Burn Bootcamp. And so Cameron, welcome. We're
Thank
so
you.
excited to have you.
Thank you.
And I look forward to this conversation. So let's get to know you a little bit first. Why don't you kind of give us your background and walk us to the point where you joined Burn, okay?
Okay. So I actually just finished my first 18 months. Grew up dancing my whole life. Right now I'm a dance teacher, dance choreographer.
Oh, cool. My daughter's a dancer. She'd learn a ton from
Oh,
you.
nice.
She's got her AirPods in all the time. And
Yep.
hitting her moves
Oh,
all
yeah.
the time. I'm like,
I'm
see you, girl, practicing.
I'm getting judged in traffic, dancing in the car,
Yeah,
but it's all good. So 18 months, just finished that. And, you know, I always use the term loosely, but I drank the Kool-Aid.
Okay.
And I'm glad I did. I have a bunch of dance mom friends that have been here, have seen great results, you know, and fortunately, everyone always thinks that this is a women's only gym.
Right.
And so I showed up day one. I believe it was a definitely Metcon camp.
Metcon, okay.
And right after camp, I walked right up to the front desk and signed up for 18 months.
Okay, good. When was that?
September 2021.
Okay, so you've been here for a couple years now. And what
Yep.
have you experienced here? I know, obviously, like walking into Mount Pleasant, the doors this morning,
Yep.
like we got out of the car and the energy from this building, like, hit us as soon as we like stepped out of the car.
Oh, yeah.
So I know that you feel that on a daily basis, because I get to feel that just walking in here. So what has that meant to you? What have you gained since joining Burn?
Confidence.
Okay.
I was the one that always tried to do the big box gyms. I think even at one point I had a membership for 18 months and I think I went once.
Okay. Yeah.
Never thought I was I'll say camp person, class person.
Like a group fitness type
Yeah.
mentality. You're a little nervous about
Yeah.
that, or just like thought it wasn't effective, or
Yeah, I tried to do my own thing. I tried to do the cycling classes. Came here and I loved it. And, you know, days I'm traveling for work, or, you know, maybe a day I can't make it, I have major FOMO.
Oh yeah.
So
Do you hit, when you travel for work? Do you ever hit up other locations?
if I can,
Okay.
I'm a director for a dance competition. So
Okay. Oh, those days are busy and
those
long.
days are busy and long,
Yeah.
but, you know, I've been to ones, you know, Florida, St. Louis.
Oh, cool.
So I've got to see a few other ones, but
What's your favorite part about Burn? Like, what sticks out to you as like, hey, this is I didn't know that, you know, I'm gonna use air quotes, group classes. Although we hate that term, camps.
I know.
You're right.
Camps,
Right.
Yep.
What stuck out to you about camps that kept you coming back?
The community. Obviously I have, you know, 215 dancers I train.
So your dance moms are all members here. And,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And they sort of showing up like progressively looking more jacked over
Yes,
time.
you know, and
rocking their Burn
seeing
gear
their transformation stories,
Yeah,
you know, when
yeah,
they get
yeah.
on the wall. But having that community at the studio and then having this community here, and now they're kind of, you know, meshing together in a way. Because, you know, what I'm taking from here, I'm also taking back to my students.
Yeah.
You know, and they're having fun now. You know,
Mhm.
they're asking, can we have a workout day? And I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah. How does it? Interesting question. So how does? Because I know that dancing, you need to remain like really limber and
Mhm.
flexible and smooth in your movements.
Yep.
How does training help that, or potentially how could it hurt that?
In a good way. I mean, I feel like I have all the body awareness already.
Yeah. Okay. What
it
about for like maybe those who are like my daughter, for example? A
Yep.
selfish question. So you know, when she's 13 and is like getting them in, like building their proprioception and building their muscles, that generally speaking going to help dancers?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like they always say, cross training is good.
Yeah.
So, every Tuesday night I have their, you know, technique class with them. But, you know, we will have an arm day or a leg day or a cardio day.
You take a little Burn Bootcamp page out and
Yep.
train a little mini camp.
Yep. And,
That's cool.
you know, usually finish with something fun. And then some of the girls that have been here before in the summer, they're like, is this what you're trying to call a finisher? And I'm like, I guess you could say that.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, you know, definitely having those two communities mesh, being here and being over there has been great.
So as you've gone through life, everybody has their own ups, their own downs, their own challenges, obstacles, and these are the things that make us tough. These are the things that build our character.
Yep.
And I always say that we're not in the gym to build muscle, although that happens, but that's a byproduct of building our character. And so my question for you is, through your journey, through your ups and downs of your own personal life, what are some of the low moments? Maybe what are some of the high moments, and how do you think your dedication, both to your dancers and both to yourself at Burn, how do you think that's helped you get through those low times? Just really talk to me about that, and really just elaborate as much as you can, because I think it's so important that we be vulnerable and that we be authentic to who we really are, and people need that in their life. They're used to like Instagram, where they're scrolling their feed and it's people just trying to sell them things that they don't actually do themselves.
Yep.
And just trying to, it's an interesting world, right?
Oh, yeah.
And there's not a lot of authenticity out there. So this podcast is like a sacred place, because we get to, the same way that the four walls of Burn Bootcamp get to protect, we get to protect our culture, right? That helps us in turn protect our four walls of our head when we leave here, right? Because now we know that we have this outlet. Like when we are authentically ourselves, we're not going to be ridiculed for it. We're not going to be judged for it. So talk to me just about that with your life, and I'll let you open up the floor for 5, 6, 7 minutes or so.
Probably the biggest thing would be doing it for myself, and taking care of myself. I've always been one to push myself. I'm a people pleaser, so I'm a yes person. So if you need me, I'll be there for you. And, finally taking time for myself, which I never did. Dance world is a big, busy world. So to finally be able to, as they say, have those 45 minutes to myself has been life-changing. From, looking in the mirror and seeing the results to, finally not caring what that number on the scale is. Because I was that guilty person that jumped on the scale every morning, and I was like, once again, numbers I don't want to see.
Guilt, shame,
Yep.
guilt, shame. Yep.
So finally having that time for myself has probably been the biggest thing. Injuries here and there, I've always been one just to push through the pain, but now trying to figure out the ways that I, not figure out the ways, but, take care of myself. Whether that means more stretching, eating better, maybe taking a day off of camp if my body truly needs it.
Can you say that again? Can we say that again? Can we say that again?
Yeah.
Doing more, sometimes doing less is more.
Yeah.
Which is weird coming from me. Like, I should be the person, like, because everybody else is gonna be like, oh, come all the time, every day. This is the only thing you need. I'm like, Like, sometimes slower is better and less is more. Yeah.
And that's what I love about the trainers here is, that they will say, it's okay to take a day. You have to for, obviously physically, because we go through a lot here, which is great, but also mentally, try to block out what's going on in the world out there or in your personal life. And sometimes, you can't do that, but that's why I love coming here, because I can have that time to just forget about everything.
Right.
And focus on myself.
I hear you saying maybe an undertone of longevity is a need for you, so that you can, it seems to me like you really care about your 215 dancers, like in a really deep way. Like, and is it safe to say that the longevity aspect of what your needs are helping you be more secure in your mind, that you're going to be here longer for this community, for my career, you got a physical career. Dancing, like I see what my daughter goes through, and wow, it's like it's like I don't think dancing gets enough credit for being like a intensive physical sport, because it really is. And the dedication you have to put toward it is just, there's such long, hard hours. And I mean, we're going all day on Saturday, and she's 7, right? But we're going all day long, and she's just, everything that goes into it seems like, hey, part of the reason why you're here is to show up for them.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in camps with them before, and it makes me push harder, because I don't want them to see me, quote unquote, fail.
Well, that player coach mentality too, right? And then they probably push themselves harder because they see you pushing yourself. That's just, that's the same relationship I have as a trainer with our members. They're looking at me and they're saying, well, if he can, I'm going to look at you for my pace. Right? Because you're setting my pace as my coach. So we did a push-up challenge one
for about 4 weeks. Because my day one, I had no tricep push-ups.
Okay.
I mean, it was rough. And so, they're in the same boat. So we did a 4-week challenge where they had to just improve that number. I didn't say how many you had to improve by, but I also did it with them. And, they saw my growth.
Okay, cool.
And I think that was a big moment for them.
You went from 0 to how many? You remember?
I actually just pulled up the video last night of I think it was the second day of camp. And it was actually Luke and Max's birthday. And I think we ended up having to do like 58 burpees. And I think I'm in the background of the video, maybe doing 2. And I think that night at the studio, when I did my push-up challenge with them, I was up to like 53 push-ups.
Wow.
So,
yeah, that's incredible.
They saw that.
Yeah.
And that was nice for me to see, their excitement, but also I think it motivated them.
Yeah, I mean, listen, 1 to 53, that's like, you have to work very, very, very hard to do that. And it's clear to me that you're pushing the pace in the gym, and and trainers are in love with that. So as you have gone through the journey, and you hit personal highs and personal lows.
Yep.
What's one other element of life that you might have struggled with that Burn Boot Camp has really made you see things differently, maybe a different perspective? I'm always interested in knowing, because I'm not just asking to ask, I'm asking because when your answer is like the positive reinforcement for me that I need to be able to take back to my team at headquarters and say, hey, I talked with Cameron on the podcast, and he told me that X, Y, and Z helped him, become a better person in these specific ways. So in a positive way, in a high or in a low, whatever frame that you want to put it through, how has Burn helped your character, your personality, your just, like not necessarily just the physical element of wanting to show up and get better and stronger and, be a role model. That's all physically based. Yeah, there's a mental transition. There's a mental translation there, but like something specifically mental, like where your character has developed. Is there anything that comes to your mind?
Receiving a compliment and saying thank you.
Okay. That's a great one.
I've always been someone complimented me, and I always have to, say, oh, thank you, but, just to say thank you. Especially personally seeing results now and having other people see results, whether it just, be number results or physique results, or just even, them noticing, oh, you're showing up every day.
Yeah.
You're committed.
Yeah.
So biggest thing would be
just receiving that
and with no but.
Yeah. That's really cool, because I was, it's interesting you mentioned that. I was listening to a podcast on right before we got on the plane to come here by a psychologist named Dr. Marshall Rosenberg, and he wrote a book called NDC. And people that have been listening to the podcast for a while know that that's one of the books that I use as like my communication Bible almost. And it stands for nonviolent communication, which is like his premise is that basically all the ways we communicate are violent, even if they're positive, because there's an undertone of judgment pretty much in everything. And one of the things he talks about is also how to receive gratitude. And one thing that as you're talking, one thing that popped in my head was a quote that Dr. Rosenberg said in his book. And he said, when you receive gratitude, you can't just receive gratitude and have somebody tell you thank you without asking them like specifically why you're thanking me. Right? My brother also told me that because he was in the military, and he's like, don't just walk up to somebody in the military or a veteran and be like, thank you for your service. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make their life better or more beautiful or more wonderful, because they don't know exactly why. They don't know they don't know what behaviors that are positively being reinforced when it's just like, thank you. So it might be, I know that I struggled with that at one point, and it was like, maybe that's why I'm struggling with like receiving gratitude, because I actually want to know, I can receive it better if I know what you're thanking me for, and then furthermore, how that made your life more beautiful. Yeah. Right? And so I just thought that was just such a good book if you're a reader. Okay. It's called Nonviolent Communication. Okay. But I've always practiced that now since I've heard that. Like, I'll ask people say thank you in line out here, like as we do meet and greets and stuff, and I'm just like, thank you for telling me that, right? Because you're standing in, I'll tell them back specifically, thank you for telling that, standing in line, waiting all this time to tell me that. I know your time's valuable, but tell me why. Tell me like one reason why. And then I'm so much so much more open to receive what they're telling me when they tell me why. So for what it's worth, maybe that's a takeaway for you.
Yeah.
So I want to go 2 more questions.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, we're thousands of people. I always say this, right, to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Thousands of people are listening, and I want you to give them a piece of your advice through the members' lens and why they should keep showing up every day, even when sometimes they don't feel like it.
I like to be a leader. I like to be someone that they can go to, whether that be in their personal life, whether that be next to somebody in a station who might be struggling, and I look over at them like, all right, I'll go the same rhythm as you. Let's finish this out. Just happened yesterday. And I always tell my kids at the studio, you know, I'm here to coach you, I'm here to guide you, and I'm here to inspire you. And hopefully at the end of the day, that means you can trust me. And so taking those things away, I always call it CGI, Coach, Guide, Inspire.
That's cool. Say that one more time. Elaborate on that a little bit more. I think that's really great.
So coach, obviously I'm coaching kids every day of the week.
So you're not just coaching them in dance.
No, in life. I mean, they know they can come to me if it's a school issue, which, you know, sometimes that 30-minute private lesson with a kid turns into just maybe a little therapy session, which fortunately kids need these days to have that connection with their coach. Hopefully then within class, when we know we're in that classroom setting, that I can guide them to be stronger, not only dancers, but better people. You know, we're not just there training them to be better dancers, but to be good people.
Got it. And then, the G.
Yep, that's the G. And then the I is inspire. I just hope that I inspire them all, which they tell me all the time, you know, how thankful they are, you know, I inspire them, but to know that I did means a lot to me.
CGI, I like
CGI.
That. Is that a philosophy that you hold dear to your heart for them?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I mean...
And I thought the great thing you said was that when you do that hopefully you've earned their trust by doing that, by like really pouring in selflessly. Yep.
So, I mean, they're the world to me. And, you know, being here has made me a better coach to them.
So show up, because when you show up, you're in an environment where you can practice being a leader. You can practice hard work. You can practice your work ethic. You can practice pushing yourself, and nobody's gonna have any expectation of you, right? Like nobody's gonna judge you. Nobody's gonna demand anything out of you. You're just demanding things out of yourself. Well, put it lightly. Maybe if we have a better, like a deep relationship, I can get to the point where I'm like, Cameron, not today, not today. You don't take the one off day. Don't stop. Maybe there's just a little bit of demand there. Yeah. So ending this, end us on a note of the end us in a good place where, you know, what is all this doing for you? Like you talked a lot about it, right? So not to be redundant or anything, but you know, as you move forward in Cameron's life, and you hope to CGI with your dancers, and you hope to be in here, like, what do you hope what do you hope the community is? How do you hope the community grows here at Mount Pleasant, and how do you hope to be a part of that?
I think they all just need to realize how life-changing it can be. And, you know, here in Wisconsin, Mount Pleasant, we are an amazing community. I grew up here my whole life, and I don't see myself anywhere else. And like I said, I have FOMO when I can't come here. You know, if I have to travel for work, or if I'm sick, or, you know, if I have to take that day for myself physically, you know, I want to be here every day because it's not only making me a better person, but it's making me a better person for my people, whether that be friends, family, dancers, students, whoever.
I love that. I think that's a great place to end. Listen, thank you so much for your time. We're getting ready to get after it out on the floor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna demand a few things of you out there as I'm training the mic at 6:45. But it's been really cool getting to know you, and thank you for sharing. And you know, as my kids grow up, and I know you're not going anywhere. You're staying right here in Mount Pleasant. I'll have to bring my daughter back. And hopefully in a couple years she's still into dance, and we can get maybe one of those CGI private lessons with her, huh?
Yes, of course.
Cool. All right, y'all. Hey, Cameron's here. Make sure that you guys leave a review and let him know one or two things that you took away from this that have made your life more beautiful, more wonderful. And we're so thankful that you're here. You could be anywhere else, but your ears are here listening to us, and we hope that we added at least a little bit of value to you today so that you can move forward in your day a better person than when you started listening to this. So make sure you flex on that subscribe button. You can tell me, you got to flex on it. Let's go. Okay, that means press it. That means like press it because you need to subscribe. Only like 15% of our listeners are actually subscribed to the podcast. So when you do subscribe, you're gonna get those notifications on your phone when we upload one. We're uploading one every single day. All right, every day, 7 days a week, so that when you wake up, we are there in your ear for you to make sure that you have Burn Boot Camp everywhere you go. Because the four walls of our amazing company, all right, when you walk out the door, you still got the four walls of your mind. And that's what this is about, the mental reps. So flex on that subscribe button. We're going to end it like we always do. 2 claps on 2. 1, 2.